are celebrating the christening of American Symphony, the newest ship on the Mississippi River, and we're celebrating the city of Natchez with American Cruise Lines, America's largest cruise company. We couldn't be more excited. Well, we've been working on a relationship with American Cruise Lines for the last couple of years, and it reached a point where, recognizing that Natchez is their favorite port, both for passengers and crew members alike, that they selected Natchez to become their future port of origination for this new ship. We are now going to be the godmother city, which means that by 2025, passengers, instead of flying into New Orleans or Memphis, will be flying in here to Natchez to begin their 7-day cruises.
We're American Cruise Lines. We're the largest overnight cruise operator in the United States, and we've been coming to Natchez for 10 years. So we're very proud to make this the godmother city of our newest boat.
Tell us, why did you select Natchez?
Because the community has been so supportive of everything we do over the past decade. Mississippi River tourism is just flourishing, and Natchez is at the center of it all. We started back in 2000 on the East Coast, and we've expanded a lot since then. We're now in 34 states, but the Mississippi River is our key growth market, and we now have 5 ships on the river.
What kind of response have you had so far?
It's been absolutely fantastic. This has been an extraordinary day so far. The community is so supportive, and our guests are loving it.
Oh, it's awesome for Mississippi. This American Symphony is just an indication of how important the river is to Natchez, Vicksburg, Greenville, Rosedale, all the places that go on the river. This is a real good indication, and to see the community support here is phenomenal. Mayor's done a great job. People in the community done a great job. It's just a really another good sign of what we can do in Mississippi.
It's a wonderful thing for our whole region and the Miss Lou. And they had made an announcement today that I didn't know about, that next year we're going to do this on the Vidalia side, their newest ship. Next year we're going to do the same thing, and Vidalia is going to be the mother of that ship. So that is just wonderful news, a wonderful company. Just can't say enough about their leadership and their employees and their staff. And it's just going to be a real blessing to have them here in the Miss Lou and bringing people from all over the world to tour this wonderful area that we call the Miss Lou, because we believe we have the most wonderful place in the world to live, to raise a family, to go, we can work, live, and play together right here.
We are the oldest city on the majestic Mississippi River. But not only are we the oldest city, we're perched on the highest bluff, and people come from all over the world to see the views we have of this river. But in addition to that, we have over 300 years of history here, and we celebrate many traditions and many cultures, from the Native Americans that first lived here, the African Americans who's built this city through that horrible time of slavery, and then through the French, the Spanish, and into the present day, where now we're celebrating unity. We're celebrating not only our history, but a lot of historic growth, economic development, new jobs, and new opportunities like this one today.
People come to Natchez for one reason or another. Most people are familiar with Natchez for its history, for its historic homes. We have such an amazing history. We have one of the largest collections of pre-Civil War homes as well as stories. And when people come to Natchez, they realize that there's so much more to it. That is such a fantastic part of our story here in Natchez. But we also have arts and culture. We have a live music scene. We have amazing outdoor experiences. We have a cultural heritage scene. There's so many different aspects of Natchez that when people come to Natchez, they realize, wow, I want to come back and again and again.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It was 2 years ago that I first got to meet this young man. His name is Charles Robertson, but I call him Charlie. And we have become the closest of friends, and Charlie is one of the youngest CEOs in America, happening to step into his father's footsteps when his father, Charles Robertson Sr., passed away just before COVID. And he has been at the helm of this company during a time like no other, during COVID, when their cruises all came to a halt, as we all did. And during that time, he now has taken this cruise company to new heights, adding new boats, adding all kind of new opportunities. And now, Charlie, you've added a new opportunity for us in Natchez. And when you called me a few weeks ago and said, how would Natchez like to be the godmother city? Oh, wow, that was a celebratory moment, and I'll never forget it. And we thank you so much. Charlie Robertson, stand up. And his lovely wife, Kristen, and Claiborne. Now, I see others that will be recognized soon, but first, let me say this. Before we move on, I want to recognize our Lord and Savior. I want to tell you right now that what's happening in Natchez is truly miraculous. We call it the Natchez Renewal. It is a Natchez Renaissance. But deep in my heart, I know it's because we put Him first. And He is blessing our city in ways we never imagined. Yes, we still have our challenges. And hey, I call it job security. I've got something to do every morning and every night. But I do want to say this. We're seeing the blessing. What I celebrate today with you is the fact that, yes, we will be now not only the godmother city for this amazing new boat, and wait until you see it, but we also will in the future be the port of origination. Watch out, New Orleans. Watch out, Memphis. Thanks to the soon to arrive commercial air service, they'll be flying here to catch the boats. But what I celebrate more than anything is the fact that through the love of God, loving our neighbor as ourself, we, this shining city on this beautiful highest hill, we are celebrating together God's love. And so, a quick thank you to all who have made today possible. Dustin, don't know what we'd do without you. Brett, Nifa, Richard, so many others. And y'all, I keep looking around the room. Brad, I see so many officials here. Wow. But it's time for the rest of the show, as they say. I will now have to say this, though, in closing. The American Symphony, one of the most beautiful vessels imaginable. And Marla and I have enjoyed a brief time aboard already, and we can tell you it's a real treasure. And we count all of our cruise companies treasures, including American Queen, Sherry Hartfield, I know you're here, including Viking, I know they're soon to come. But today is a day to celebrate this amazing relationship. And Charlie Robertson, we will never forget you and the fact that you, your family, and your company are the ones who made it happen. May God bless you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Governor Tate Reeves. What an exciting day for the city of Natchez and for the state of Mississippi. We all know that Mississippi is filled with beautiful and historic places, Natchez being one of the best. I'm thrilled that American Cruise Lines has chosen Natchez to be the godmother city of American Symphony. This 175 passenger ship will give visitors an incredible view of one of the state's most charming and elegant locations, the Mississippi River. Not only is this exciting for the more than 3,000 guests the river cruise industry brings to Natchez each week, but it's also exciting for those who live and work and own a business right there in Natchez. Natchez boasts one of the Mississippi's fastest growing economies and has seen robust growth across virtually every economic sector in the last few years. In 2021 alone, visitors spent nearly $100 million, resulting in more than $1.5 million in tourism tax revenue, over $10 million in state and local taxes, and 1,400 jobs. Becoming a port of origin has played a huge role in bringing commercial air service back to Natchez, and it will provide an additional opportunity to strengthen our hospitality sector. That's why I'm also excited to hear that by 2025, American Symphony anticipates calling Natchez's port home, and in turn will bring even more people to visit the state we all know and love. Thank you to American Cruise Lines and CEO Charlie Robertson for your continued support of our state's economy. I'd also like to thank Mayor GIBSON, his entire team, and everyone else who had a hand in making this a possibility. Congratulations, American Cruise Lines. Congratulations, Natchez, on this incredible partnership. I can't wait to see what the future will hold, and I know that those who take a cruise on board the American Symphony will be met with a truly one-of-a-kind experience on the mighty Mississippi. Again, congratulations on this huge milestone. Thank you all, and God bless.
We are here, and I am excited to be here, back to come home. Dan knows this, and so he keeps reminding me of it, that I'm coming home. My grandmother was from Natchez, and we started here, much like the Natchez Trace and so many other things that started in Mississippi here. The original capital was here. So many things that have occurred in Natchez. And one of the really special things that we're going to do today is welcome a boat to be placed in Natchez and make it our ship. Now that's real important in the naval business, where your home port is. It kind of gives that thought that this is an important place that you need to be. And Natchez is making such great strides under the mayor's leadership and all of your work here. It's not, you never can do one thing by yourself. And it's so impressive to see the work you're doing on both economic development, of course, and on the ability to get transportation here and possibility of having flights at the airport and all the other things, the positive things that Natchez is doing. It is a great, great process that you're going through here. And it does take everybody in the community to do so. And you have such a rich history that you're drawing on this. And in regards to that, I never thought that I would take a riverboat cruise. And in fact, when my wife Lynn was encouraging me to do so this summer, the first thing we did when we arrived and got on the boat was she looked for a life preserver, assuming that I would jump off. Those of you, as Dan, and I've known Dan from his prior mayor, all these other years, those of you who know me well know that I'm probably a little antsy. But in any event, it turned out to be one of the most relaxing things that we have done as a family. And it was amazing the amount of things you see in the ports that the Symphony will go to. The ports that they will stop in Mississippi, Greenville, Vicksburg, Rosedale. I was just yesterday at the Grammy Museum. The things that we have to offer really emanating from you, emanating from Natchez, are such a really positive thing for us. And so those of you who think that you may not ever want to get on a boat like that and be served, the food is excellent, the service is beyond expectations, the scenery is wonderful, where you stop is great places like Natchez, I would encourage you to revisit that as something we did this summer that I thought was just fantastic. Now, on behalf of the state, I saw the governor had spoken and spoke with the governor today, or spoke with Tate Taylor earlier today, actually, on matters that continue to go here, and Chandler, who's doing economic development here, and the rest of it. We want to tell you that Natchez is a favored place for us. Now, the mayor even talked the state legislature out of $500,000 to light up the bridge. That's pretty good, I have to tell you. There's a lot of people you went past to to light up the bridge in Natchez, so whatever. But the only problem with that, of course, is we've had repeated calls from Greenville and all the other bridges, Vicksburg, and we'll light up their bridge, but whatever. I said, well, call Dan, he's an expert. We are committed to the small things, the cultural things, and the business things to make this part of Mississippi prosper. And with your leadership and the people that are committed in this room, we intend to be successful. So thank you very much for having me down. We look forward to being with all of you today, and it's good to see my senators, and one of my senators right here, Kelvin. Thank you for coming. It's good to see my group here and other members of the House. So, and Lydia's, there she is, my other senators here. It's good to see you, all of you. She'll speak shortly. So thank you very much for inviting us. We're looking forward to celebrating with you today.
What a great day for the Miss Lou, and it is. I'm not going to even try, Dan, to recognize even remotely anybody other than the ones I really want to thank for being here. And Charlie, I met Charlie when I first got elected mayor. One of the first things I did was joining MRCTI, which is Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, which is a very, very working hard organization for cities along the Mississippi River, and is really geared to cities along the Mississippi River because we have our unique circumstances like flooding, seepage water, things that a lot of communities don't experience. And it's a great organization. But I met Charlie, I think, several years ago in Washington, and Paul. And what just a great group of guys. I mean, I can't say anything. Just the spirit that you guys have got and being around you is special. I've told my wife April, who I thank for allowing me to go on all these things and supporting me the way she does. You guys are really exuberate warmth. You really do, and if that carries through with your staff like I've seen that do so far today, we are in for a treat for years to come. They are making investment in these cruise boats coming to all up and down the Mississippi River, and Delbert, I hope we can get these bridges lit, because I'm telling you something, this is a very beautiful place for these cruisers to get off these boats and see such a beautiful sight as those bridges being lit. And they've been missed very much. I can promise you that Dan has carried the torch trying to get these bridges relit, and I can't say enough about this guy either. He and I have lunch often together. I'm not singing tonight, by the way. Don't even try to get me up there to sing. But he and I become really close, and I count him as a brother, and I think he is doing one of the amazing job for Natchez. Amazing, not only for Natchez, but the whole region. And thank you, Dan and Marla, for the work that y'all do, and you work tirelessly, and you recognize everybody. You are a mayor for the people, and I want to say that, and I mean that sincerely. There's nobody look, this is private conversations. This is two guys getting together who are mayors, and he does love every aspect and every citizen in this town. It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status, their color, their talent. He is a mayor for all the people. And Dan, thank you for being not only a good friend and a brother, but also leading the town the way you're doing. And thank you very much for that. So, thank you. One story I will tell, and then I'm going to get off here because I'm excited about the rest of the day. I did take Charlie and Paul on Vidalia cruise lines. They are also they're planning docks on the Vidalia side as well, and I can't wait for the day when I see multiple boats on both sides of the river in this area with these cars and traffic we have coming across, seeing a beautiful sight of all these cruise boats. You're right, this might be the next New Orleans Central cruise place leaving when they see all these boats on both sides of the river. But I took them out in my bass boat, and we went all around and showed them the depth of everything on my depth finder, and I think they had a pretty good time. I really do. Here's some guys that fly all over the country, have these cruise boats all over the world, and they were, I think, really impressed with riding around in a little old bass boat back in Old River and seeing alligators and all these different things. But really, thank y'all so much for what y'all are going to do for our area and our region. And the talent, oh my goodness, I hope y'all sing some more of all of this. I can't wait to see some more of that. So thank you again. God bless you, Miss Lou.
I would just like to say that Natchez is the perfect godmother city. Like all women of a certain age, she is old enough to have had an interesting past, and yet genteel enough to have an elegant and charming future. The perfect godmother is one who has the wisdom to care for the future of those children who may be entrusted to her guidance, but also has the fun spirit to enchant and beguile those same children in the present. Natchez is our grand dam on the Mississippi River. For centuries, she has overseen the passage of those who have come her way and were forever captivated by her timeless beauty. Her stories run the gamut of human emotion. Timeless, ever charming, ever new, both tragic and heartbreakingly beautiful. She is a siren who once again will welcome her visitors from their river transits. The happy union of the American Symphony and Natchez, one we can toast and rejoice in its completion. To Lady Natchez and the American Symphony, a perfect union whose time has come, I salute you.
I'm from Brookhaven, Mississippi, and go Natchez. I have to tell you guys, you are really going to town. If we could bottle this up, it just makes our job, Lydia and mine, so easy when you have people that work this hard. I have to tell you something. My good friend Sam Mims, your House member, works very hard in the Capitol for you guys. Devin, I'm going to say, I've spent a lot of time with, and what a good hire. And when you make these smart decisions, it just makes it easier. And then you have Dan Gibson. Let me tell you something. If I could get whatever that is in a bottle and sell it, I would retire tomorrow. I would drink a little bit first, you know. But let me tell you, you just are doing the right thing. Tourism is the way to go. Tourism brought in $6 billion last year. We were the #1 state in the nation during COVID for renting hotel rooms. I mean, you have to think about people want to come here. And when you have the magic right now that Natchez does, keep going. You got the right people doing the right job. We're going to help you. We did a really great bill that's bringing a good bit of money into Natchez tourism. I'm hoping with the Lieutenant Governor here, I would say I'd love to do it again. Just a little secret. Everybody's happy about that one. Let's just admit it. But you guys have it going on, and I'm proud of you. Like I said, you make it easy for us to do our job, to help you, and whatever I can do to help, I want to be there for you. Thank you so much.
It's an extreme honor and pleasure to welcome the President and CEO of American Cruise Lines, Mr. Charles B. Robertson.
Wow, thank you. Thank you all. My lovely wife, Kristen, is here keeping our 3-year-old at attention, so maybe I should just thank her and be on with it. When the mayor and I first started talking about this, I have just a little more color to add to that first phone call. I said 20 people maximum. He laughed and said, "We'll see about that." The next morning, about 14 hours later, he says, "Charlie, I'm up to 150, and we're about to invite the whole town. The community has got to be involved in this." And I thought, that's just perfect. He's absolutely right. That is exactly why we love Natchez so much. The community has got to be involved. You all have been here to support us from day one, showing our guests an extraordinary time, taking care of our crew, doing unbelievable things to just make tourism in Natchez possible. And we appreciate it so much, we believe in it so much, and we're here to support you too. The community has got to be involved. And so christenings in other cities, I suppose, can be smaller events, but not in Natchez. And this is absolutely terrific. It's the biggest one we've ever done as a company by about fivefold. And it's wonderful to have so many of our guests, so many of our crew here in this room, and even more of them joining us later at the landing. So thank you all. We've been coming to Natchez for 10 years. This is actually our 10th year in Natchez. And we very quickly, that first year, realized how special it really was here. And that's a big part of why we were so honored to have Natchez be the godmother city for our newest boat. That first year on the river, though, we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. We were just we had a long history on the coast, and we were just bringing cruising back to the rivers after the financial crisis. And we came to the rivers not knowing what to expect, not knowing that it drops 40 feet. We thought tides in Maine were a big deal. But you all were here to help us. Every river town was incredibly supportive, from New Orleans up to Minneapolis. But Natchez and Vidalia, right across the river, stood out from that very first day being here. You all were so supportive. So now we have 5 riverboats on the river. We've grown a lot since that first day. We have 14 others around the country, and we operate in 34 states throughout the year, but there is still only one Natchez. It's absolutely incredible. And so next year, we're adding a 6th one. Next spring, we'll bring a 6th boat here, and we'll christen it right across the river, if y'all will have us, in Vidalia. Sister ships and sister godmother cities. I think it's terrific. The growth that we've seen on the Mississippi River with ourselves, with Natchez, with Vidalia, with the towns we visit, is not just about capacity. It's not just about passengers on the river. We're really transforming a market, I believe, here. We are making the Mississippi River compete on a global scale with the river cruise industry. The new ships that are coming, the investment in the ports, the investment in the docking infrastructure, all of the new excursions that we have in the cities are all part of making the Mississippi River the best river cruising area in the entire world. And it competes so favorably to anyone. Natchez and Vidalia, in particular, can compete with the best of the European river towns and go head-to-head with anybody. I'm absolutely certain of it, and I'm so excited for all the future, all the potential that still exists in the future in these towns together. And so we are absolutely honored to have the American Symphony here in Port now for the first time ever, to carry Natchez as the godmother city forward, to have Asia Branch be our fantastic godmother for all of our days. And let's get this boat christened. Thank you.
What separates American Cruise Line's experience from other cruise lines?
The personalization that we provide on board the ship and ashore. And that's where our interaction with the community really comes into play.